Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Welcome to another time here. Welcome to another time in the other book club. Thanks for coming. Thanks for making it. I got to do this Sunday afternoons, 2 p.m. West African time. We've been doing a read through our night book and the series, The Confidence Game. That's what we've been reading since August, September last year, and it's a night book in the series. Next month we're going to be 5 years doing this, and we've read night books. This is our night book, the one that's uh the confidence game, just talking about the confidence game is what we know as a con game, the swindling game, 419, popularly known down here. Uh Someone trying to mogul you, someone trying to deprive you of your money, And the word confidence is important there because confidence is a factor that they use to be able to win your trust, to be able to take down your defense, to be able to surrender to what they're after, And today we're going to talk a bit on confidence today as we go into chapter 4 of our book. Chapter 4 of our book is titled The Rope, and the rope really is that place where the 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 grifter, the one that wants to swindle, really hypnotizes and brings down every defense that the victim might have against being drawn or being captivated, by the game, So it's first of all, like we said, we did the we call it the hook up, the put up, it's pretty much finding knowing about the victim. And we went on and spoke about the we talked about the put up, then we went on and talked about the play itself, which is pretty much using what you know about the victim to get the victim interested. The rope is pretty much bringing down every defense that the victim might have, So it's the other place where we talk about the line also, we talk about the hook, and the line, the whole rope is the line, where you're drawing, as it were, your victim in, and all of those are probably systematic words. The key thing is that it's a place where you persuade, it's a place you persuade, the victim. You bring down every question, you answer the questions and bring down the defenses the victim might have, to being conned, So that's what the rope is about. And we'll be talking here about it. The chapter starts with this quote, by Simeon Lovell. That's the ch way the chapter starts, by a quote by Simeon Lovell, and it says, ultimately, at the end, anyone can be conned if you have the balls to do it. If you're confident enough, anyone can be conned. We see that with Donald Trump, you know is able to con a lot of people, even when uh, the truth is glaring, just because he knows how to talk, can confidently talk about the lie, and some people are going to believe it. We see that all over the US, with all the incidents taking place. You see the video of what the truth is, but someone comes up and says something otherwise, and says it so many times that some people get to believe it. So at the end of the day, anyone and everyone can be conned, everyone can be deceived, everyone can be everyone can be given a perception of view other than what the reality is. We're all susceptible to that, and if you're careless, someone can do that on you. That's why the scriptures would say, be sober, Be vigilant. But sober but vigilant, because you can be deceived, you can be conned. Another part of scripture would say that he that thinketh it stands, let him take it lest he falls. When you don't have your defenses in place and you don't have them assured, you can easily be conned. Anyone and everyone can be conned. So if you want to live your life in such a way, you have to secure your defenses. You have to have control of yourself. That means you are aware of yourself. You don't let any loose ends, right? You don't let any excesses in your life, because those excesses, those loose ends are the ways, are the things that the con person uses to get people. So and you are aware also, you're aware of your environment, you're aware you're aware of your weaknesses, your strengths, the opportunities around you, the threats around you. You're not taking anything for granted, because if you do, you can be conned. You can be conned by the things that you crave for yourself, and you don't know you're craving for it. But if you're not aware, that's the same. The devil is a predictor. It's not going to come after you in a place of your strength. If it's going to get you, it's going to get you in a place of your weakness, right? And your weakness is the place you seek comfort in. Is a place we seek comfort in. So when we are at our low moments, that's the place we want to enter into. That's the problem with Solomon, right? When Solomon married strange women, he was still able to worship God. But the Bible says that when he grew old, those strange women took his heart away from God, because when he grew old, he did not have his defenses in place. He was seeking comfort, the comfort that was sick, that comes with old age, right? I got to do exercise, and I do exercise for the intent of building strength. But when I'm done exercising, I am tired. I am tired. That's not the time I want to do any other labor. I just want to seek rest. I want to lay somewhere, sleep, eat. I'm looking for comfort, and I deserve it because all my muscles are all stretched out. I'm looking for the easy thing after I finish doing exercise because I'm tired. But if I'm not mindful of my environment at that point in time, if I had not been mindful of my environment before the time I did exercise, and I'm surrounded by an environment that is not for my good, those are the time I can easily fall. Those are the time I can easily fall. I've heard of cases, of what happens in the gym. I've heard of people that work late and end up having a fear. Because after working late in the tiredness, you just want to rest, and you are most exposed at that time. If you have been surrounding yourself with someone that wants to sleep with you, someone that wants to do something evil with you, at that time you're most susceptible. Your environment can take you away. So in the time of strength, we must ensure that the environment we set around ourselves is an environment that will support us in the time of our weakness. The time to determine your environment is when you're strong, not when you're weak. Because when you're weak, you're just looking for rest. You're looking for rest. And it's the environment you have put for yourself in your time of your strength. That is what will either bring you down or support you. We always prepare for war in the time of peace. We prepare for war in the time of peace. So anyone can be conned if that person has not taken heed to him or herself, has not done the environmental sanitation of his or our own environment. Because my environment is stronger than my willpower. If my willpower is continually being subjected to it, my willpower is a muscle. It needs rest. After I've exercised it, it needs rest to get its energy back. But if I'm in a place that I'm continually exercising it, it's going to weaken. It's going to weaken. I need to give my willpower rest that it needs to continue to protect me. But if I'm subjecting it to a place where it's always been exercise, it's going to weaken. And there might just be a break in the wall, a break in the wall that a serpent can come in through. You have to use your power to produce, to get yourself an environment that does not need you to continually be exercising your willpower. An environment that is supportive of your character, of your principles, of your philosophy, of the way you want to go. That is the way to ensure that you don't get derailed, you know, from the vision that you have set for yourself, from a dream you have set for yourself, from a goal you have set for yourself, from a target you have set for yourself. Nothing just happens. People don't just fall into temptation. They fall into temptation because they were careless. It's not the devil, it's you. You did not do your work. You did not protect yourself. You did not, but you were not mindful of your environment. Nothing just happens. It happened because you're careless. The way to protect yourself is to be sober, collected, cut away the excesses, circumcision, and be aware. Be aware because you have an enemy. You have an enemy. Not everybody likes you. You have an enemy, and that enemy has children. You have an enemy, and that enemy has children. So you cannot afford to be careless. Can imagine a deer that is careless, just doing that. Okay, nothing against me. Those are prepared meal for the predator. Because when the predator comes, it's looking for weakness, looking for those that are not that don't have self-control, those that are not alert and aware, those that are taking things for granted, those that are taking things for granted and suppose that they have nothing against them, those that think that they stand. Those are the ones that the enemy will go for. The enemy will not go for the one that is strong. The enemy will not go for the one that is alert, that is conscious, that is circumcised, that has the belt of truth, girdled. The enemy goes for the careless ones. If you're careless, then you're ripe meal for the devil. Right? So we're going into chapter 4 here, and it says that anyone can be conned. Anyone. The con man knows anyone can be conned. That's why they come repeatedly to you. You have someone called me with the same voice continually because they're just wondering, they're just hoping that they'll catch me at a time when maybe I'm weak, maybe I'm going through a season of life, where I've lost I've lost my guide. My guides are down, where I have become careless, you know. Like I was careless, like I continually say, when I got back here 2026, I was careless. I thought I was home. I thought I was coming back home to friends, people that knew me, people that supported me. Surprise. I was there in a den of devils, right? Devils who all they wanted to do was to clip my wings because they felt I was a threat to their stupidity. And I can't blame them. I blame myself, for not being aware, not being wise, not being matured enough to see the game that was going on. I was just innocent. I used to say of myself that I'm a free spirit. That's the easy way to hell, right? You must always have your guards on. You must be conscious. You must be conscious. You must have your guards on. There's no place called home. I've had that mistake several times. I joined the WhatsApp group of my university fellowship one time, and I foolishly made the statement, this is a safe place. Wow. Just not too long after I wrote that, I had a rude awakening, and some people just ganged up against me. Christian, oh, this is a Christian WhatsApp group for something that I said that means nothing. Just had some young people, you know, with no sense, just gang up and were saying stupid things. They didn't even know the spirit that was walking inside of them. Because after all of that was settled, I asked them again, what really did I say wrong? They couldn't say it. They just allowed themselves to be used of a devil. You have an enemy. His name is the devil, but he has children. He has children even in the church. Even in my old church, one time, yeah, don't let me go there so I don't get too personal, but you can afford to have your guards down. You can't afford to have your guards down, but sober, but vigilant. It's not saying be sober, but vigilant only when you're outside your house. It's not saying be sober, but vigilant only when you're at work. It's not saying be sober, but be vigilant only when you're not in the office. Always, all the time. The devil can use your wife. The devil can use your children. You have to be on your alert. Jesus was sober and vigilant even with his disciples. Said he was going to Jerusalem, and one of them said, you can't go, you can't go. Jesus didn't say, oh, Peter, oh, angel, you have missed it. No, no, he rebuked the spirit. Even with his disciples, he needed to be sober, but vigilant. Even amongst his disciples, the devil could use his chief disciple, could speak through him, even though he didn't know what was happening. And more than that, there was one that knew what was happening and gave himself wholly to it. So be sober, be vigilant is 24/7 job, 24/7 job. Then more especially when you have noticed that the person or the people cannot be trusted. There's someone I kind of wanted to forgive for past wrong, and I wanted to move closer to, let bygone be bygone. But the best person told me how so wrong I was, showed me the true color of a and I have got my guards back, all right. This person cannot be trusted with my vulnerability. So, all right, I took the vulnerability away. Maya Angelou says that if someone shows you their true color, believe it the first time. Well, this person showed me true color several times, and I've been trying to forgive that. Apparently, the sports cannot be cleaned off. I need to accept this person for who she is, you know. So it's life. I can't control anybody's behavior. I can't make anybody be this or that, but I can protect myself. We all are responsible for protecting ourselves, right? So don't let me digress too far. Keyword here that we're saying is the fact that, anyone can be hypnotized. Anyone, anyone. Maybe the word, I'm jumping the gun. Anyone can be conned, right? Anyone can be conned, and one word that is so closely related to being conned has been hypnotized. Because the con game, really, we don't use the word hypnotism, but it's really an hypnotism, right? Uh, because the con game is a way that bypasses your ability to reason, right? To above reasoning, believe in the person that is trying to sell you the product. He, in a sense, bypasses your ability to rightly reason, to talk to your subconsciousness. That's what the con game is about. The con man is trying, if he gives you a chance to reason it out, you'll see through. But he sells it to you in a way that he's selling to your subconsciousness, your habits. Is selling to is bypassing your ability to rightly reason, to sell to your emotions, your ability to your liking it, your fears, in a way is not allowing you to rightly reason, right? So, and that's what hypnotism is. Hypnotism is hypnotism is the ability to talk to someone's subconsciousness by bypassing the person's consciousness, right? Our consciousness is our gateway to our subconsciousness. In a normal routine of things, anything that comes, our consciousness will judge it. Yeah, if we consciously decide that it's not for us, it will not get to our subconsciousness. But if we consciously decide that it's okay and we begin to think about it, to dwell on it, it will seep into our subconsciousness. But there's a way to bypass that process because subliminal communication is all about distracting the conscious mind so that you can feed the subconsciousness with the information you're trying to pass through. That is hypnotism. Hypnotism is not you sleeping. Hypnotism is speaking to your subconscious mind by distracting your conscious mind, right? Not allowing your conscious mind to judge what you're trying to pass your subconscious mind. That's hypnotism. So if you can be hypnotized, you can be conned. If you can be conned, you can be hypnotized. They're one and the same. So, and that's the way that word comes in, confidence game. It's not just for the sake of being there. It's the fact that that confidence is a key part of the game. The confidence factor is a key part of the game. Someone that is not confident cannot con you. If someone comes here and is doing as if he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's not passing any message, you can't hear what he's saying. You just already judge that person that that person is stupid, right? You already judge that person to be stupid, right? But if someone comes to you and that person is looks like he knows what he's talking about, his confidence will tend to make you not truly think deeply about what is happening, but believe and allow yourself to be guided by that person. You want to be like that person. You want to be like that person. And you're most susceptible to it when you are not even sure of your own self. Right? That's why it's easy to get conned when you're going through times of change, right? Maybe you're transiting from one plane to the other, where you have a bit of uncertainty around you. Your mind is not certain about some things. Easy to get you conned because in you trying to look for certainty, you have a con person presenting you with certainty, and it's like you are hungry for certainty, and it's very likely and easy for you to grasp the certainty, that the con person is providing, right? Because the swindling game, the con game, it's all about that certainty. It doesn't mean that they know what the certainty is true, but your subconscious doesn't know the difference. Your subconscious couldn't be bothered on whether something is true or false, whether something is real or fictitious. Your subconscious will act on any information that gets to it, if only can get to it. That is the whole art of con game. That's the whole art of the con game, right? That's the whole art of the con game. The con game is all about someone trying to use their confidence to make you not to reason deeply, but to accept what they are saying because it seems like they know what they are saying. Seems like they know where they are going. That's the whole art of leadership also. When a leader comes and shows confidence, everybody seems to rally around that person, irrespective of what that person has to present. If that person feels like he knows what he's saying, the first easy response is to rally around that person. That's important. It's the way we're built. We're built to rally about around those that have confidence in what they're saying. That's what we saw about Jesus, right? They said about Jesus, this one preaches differently. He preaches like he knows what he's talking about. He preaches with confidence. He's not one of those that are just thinking, oh, is it so? Oh, I'm not sure. All right. There's power in confidence. There's hypnotic power in confidence, right? And you need it. Yeah, the con man uses it for evil purpose, but we can use it in our daily life. We need it in our daily life to win. Without confidence, you cannot be the highest expression of all that God wants you to be. You need confidence to be able to attain, to be able to actualize, to be able to enter into the fullness of what God has for you. That's what God was telling Joshua, right? One thing God told Joshua was, first of all, don't let his word depart from you. But second thing he said about 9 times in Joshua chapter 1 is be courageous, only be courageous, only be courageous, only be courageous, only be courageous. I'm gonna deal with you like I was with Moses. But there's a requirement. Only be courageous. Only be courageous. Only be courageous. There's a requirement. You gotta be confident. You have the confidence. It's almost like God cannot work with us if we're not confident. God cannot work with us if we're not courageous. God needs us to do our part for him to do his part. God said to Joshua, I'll be with you, even like I was with Moses. But he continually said 9 times. He only talked about the word once in 1:8, about 9 times. He said, only be courageous, only be courageous, only be courageous, only be courageous. Almost as if that is even more important than him dwelling in the word. Because if you know the word and you're not courageous, it's useless. If you know the word, it's useless if you don't act it out, if you don't live it, right? Knowing is potential power, real power is doing something about what you know. And you can't do something about what you know if you're not courageous. If you're not confident about that which you know. You cannot produce power. God cannot support it. So it's good to know. But our knowledge is useless if you're not doing anything about it. I know a lot about prayer, but it's useless if I'm not praying. I guess that's why God has me praying Mondays to Fridays to use what I know, right? I know a lot, but knowledge is useless if you're not doing it. And if you don't have confidence, if you're not courageous, you probably won't be able to act it. I came and pray in the Holy Ghost there Mondays to Friday. It takes courage, it takes confidence, it takes faith to do that. Because I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking as the Holy Ghost has given me utterance. One of the things that caught my mind, was that quote that says that if the sun ever loses confidence in itself, it will stop shining. If the sun ever loses confidence in itself, it will stop shining. If Akin Bodoshe ever loses confidence in himself, he'll start speaking. Mine is to speak. The result is left to God. I am not faking it. I'm saying it the way it's coming from my spirit. It's God's job to do the rest. I come in faith, I come in confidence. The rest is God's. He says he will be with me, even as he was with Moses. He will be with me, even as he was with Jesus. My part is to step out in faith. If I don't step out in faith, he will not be with me as he was with Moses. He will not be with me as he was with Jesus. My part is only to be courageous, to be confident. So we're going to talk about that part, even though the con man, uses it wrongly, we can use it rightly because God wants us to be confident in our daily work. I am a confident man, ask some people around here, and I'm confident by purpose, by intentionally, because I know the power of confidence. Ask those who work with me, ask those who will see me walk around. It's intentional. It's intentional. I do everything to support it because I know and understand the power of confidence. So we're going to talk about confidence here. And maybe it's easier if I bring up my slide and we just take the points one by one. All right. So if you're there, my blog inside, you'll see the slides. Uh if you're there on YouTube, you said Facebook you want. But don't worry, you don't need it. Just here, listen to me just to help me. Slides here just to help me to guide me now. So we spoke about that anyone can be hypnotized and told anyone can be conned, you know. Some research says 95% of people can be hypnotized to some degree, right? Yeah, there are probably a few due to their uh psychosis state or psychotic state might, have problem with that. The truth also is anyone can resist it because it's all about trying to communicate with your subconscious mind. If you're aware, you can resist. If you're not aware, there's nothing for you to resist, right? The way to resist hypnotism is to be mindful, right? Be mindful. When you're worried, when you're troubled, those are distractions to your conscious mind, and it's then easy to get into your subconscious mind, right? So if you hone your mind, you cannot be hypnotized. You have to hone your mind, right? Uh, so hypnosis it requires your conscious participation in being distracted. If they can distract you, then they can get to you. So talking about the hypnotic effort of confidence, right? This refers to how a self-assured. So if you're self-assured, if you're calm, if you have a poised demeanor, you can mesmerize, influence, and sway other people often bypassing their critical, rational, and skeptical thinking, right? I want to give an example here, but it's just going to make me look so stupid. So maybe I shouldn't give the example. I know someone that sold their house just because, well, they're going through a lot of things, trouble, worry, and they just think every other person is better than them, and this person comes offering you go to the house and looks like the old person is made, and it kind of kills your ability to reason. You're just thinking maybe if I sell, me too. That, yeah, be careful. Be careful. If you're working with someone that is confident, that enough alone, puts you in a state of seeming sorry for yourself, seeming wanting to thinking that person look is like God that has a solution for you. You have some it's what we call charisma, right? And you have some people on pulpits that carry that, not that they have anything to add to it, but it's just the way they draw people to themselves. And if they're then empty, that's all they're gonna give to the people that they get drawn to themselves, shallowness. You're hoping that when someone has charisma, someone has confidence, hopefully he has something else, he has substance to back it up because the charisma, the confidence will draw people. Doesn't necessarily mean you feed them. If you don't have something in addition to the charisma, then you've just you can you've just drawn people to yourself, and all they might be is a cult of yourself and nothing really to move them further or make them better. Just like for each of us, we also need to be aware of that because one, for when a con person comes to us, and con person can be in the church also, so you have con people on the pulpits also. They have charisma, they have confidence, and therefore we open up, and they can then use that to do anything. We have all of those stupid examples of someone selling key of heaven, soap of heaven, and different stupid things, right? People talking about heaven a lot, you know, but they first have to con them enough to be able to even sit down to listen to such stupid things. Just don't be careful that you don't get caught in that web, right? Because it's a human thing, and if you don't know about this, you can easily get caught in such things, and it can mess you up. It can mess you up. And it's easy to say it will mess you up when everything is okay with you. And I used to know a pastor uh who went to some stupid place when his life was upside down, when life happened to him, but you have to be careful. First of all, to hone your mind in such a way that, you know, you- you'll never get to that point where you'll be at the mercy of all this. I've been in depression 2 times. I know what it looks like. Everything I do today is not to ever be in a depression again. I know what it feels like. So my job is to do everything to guide me not to ever be in there. And it's possible. It's possible. Depression is all about you not honing your mind, allowing yourself to be drained, to be overused, to get to a dry place. Don't forget that again, the devil, a predictor, will not go for strength, he will go for weakness. If you're running yourself dry, you become a target for the enemy because you're weak, right? So, but if you always have your defense up, and you don't ever get to a place where you run empty. You don't open yourself up to the devil, right? Yeah, you have to always have a planned way of filling up your tank. You don't get to the place where you run empty, right? It's self-sustenance. It's self-sustenance, and so if you're careless, you'll run to a place where, and life's a mind game. If you lose your mind, easy to go to depression, right? So yeah, but we need to be careful because there are people, just someone being confident, can hypnotize us, and we then wanting to do anything that person is saying, right? And we have several calls in church. I'm a church boy, I can give you several. You have the Guyana tragedy, we have different churches that have started, all with the aim of trying to solve one problem in the Christendom, only to create other problems, right? They're so confident in trying to solve this problem, but they're creating other problems, and every people are drawn towards them because it seems like they know what they're talking about, you know. So yeah, be careful. However, you need to also develop it in your life, because you're going to be a leader and you're going to have the fullness of God backing you up. You need to be confident. You need to be confident in what you do, what you know, your assignment in life, because if you're not confident, you might be a stumbling, it might be a blockade, in God, being able to work, backing you up, right? God needs us to stand up, and stand up to do, and it will back us up. He doesn't back us up, then we go. It says, only be that courageous, stand up to the challenge, stand up, to face the enemy at the gate. It's what Joshua and Caleb did when they went to search the land. They said that if only our God is pleased with us, he will give us this for bread. Right. So they're not going, they were courageous because of that belief that they heard. We'll see David doing the same thing. He asked, what will be given to the person that kills this uncircumcised Philistine? He stood up against it because he had seen all that God had done for him in the backside of a desert as he stood up against those seemingly smaller oppositions in his life. Right. So confidence, it gives an hypnotic effect. It opens the way for you, and opens the windows of heaven also for God to support you if your heart is right, And so it's two ways. Be careful with of other people's confidence that we don't do stupid things because we're carried away by the charisma, also that we need to build confidence in ourselves. It helps us uh it helps us to be able to command, the environment we find ourselves in. People think that we know. People people seem to think that we know. It's also good to know, that you can know and be useless, but know and be useful. To be useful, you need confidence, right? That's key word there. So confidence can produce that effect. We need to be careful of it and be able to develop it in our own self. So the effects, hypnotic effects of confidence include what we call the power of certainty. Confidence acts as a signal of competence. When you're confident, people think that you are competent, right? It's important to be competent also, right? But but that perception is also important because people will not give you a chance if they don't perceive you to be competent, right? But create that atmosphere, but be competent also when they give you the opportunity. So leading others to accept information without questioning it, similar to accepting a suggestion in a hypnotic state. So when you show confidence, which it shows that you are certain about what you're saying, people tend to hear and take what you're saying. There's also what we call social suggestibility. When someone radiates high confidence, it can create an often unconscious trance-like state in observers, causing them to lower their own critical defense and accept the confidence person's narrative. People listen to you when you show confidence. And I've had that. I've been on the pulpit and, someone just locked into what I was saying. Whatever it was eating home for the for her, So if you're standing to proclaim the truth, do it with confidence. We saw that in Apollos, even though Apollos didn't know the more sure way. People listened to him because of the eloquence, confidence with which he portrayed, and we had those mentors take him aside and teach him the more sure way, gave him the ammunition into the barrel, into the missile launcher that he already had, right? So the two things are important: confidence, competence. Confidence, competence, right? You need both. If you're confident without competence, they'll open ground for you, but you might not be able to make impact. If you're competent and you're not confident, they won't even open the door for you. They won't give you place at the table. There are people that know everything, but they're not giving place at the table because they don't carry what they know, right? You have to carry what you know. The book is judged by the cover. No matter how many times we say don't judge the book by the cover, the reality of life is the book is always judged by the cover. You have to exude that confidence. That's a cover. That's what people will judge. That's what will determine whether people are going to open themselves to you or not, open the door to you or not, give you place or not. You can have everything, all the anointing in the world. If you don't exude confidence, people will not even open the door to listen to you. Right. So you need both. Right. So emotional contagion, a deeply confident person can project a sense of calm and certainty. When someone that's confident is talking to you, you just feel everything is okay. Oh, it's gonna be okay. That's what I was looking for when I was in depression. Just some word from God. We were looking for certainty, and someone with confidence brings that. Unfortunately, if that person's a con man, it'll be to deprive us of our goods. But if that person is a good man, it'll be to help us. So confidence is a skill that can be built, right? But nobody brings confidence from heaven. Nobody brings leadership from heaven. It's something that we'll learn down here, right? Nobody is confident from heaven. Nobody is born a leader. We all learn it here, right? It's the way we train ourselves, down here, right? And it's never too late. It's never too late. You can always build confidence wherever you find yourself, right? It's not a personality trait. Confidence is not a personality trait, right? It's a skill that can be learned, right? So it is more than also than a psychological trait. It's deeply ingrained biological process rooted in the brain, right? And it's something you can do, something I'm doing for myself because I understand the principle, right? You can learn to be confident, right? So if first of all, it's a choice, is a choice on the way you choose to think. If you're always thinking negatively, you cannot be confident. To be confident, you have to be an optimistic person, thinking positive, reframing things in a way to solve them. You have to be a half full cup person, not a half empty cup person, right? Because the way you think affects your confidence, right? It's a mind game, right? So when we doubt, whether when we doubt, it affects certain parts of our brain. So it's going to affect the way we look, the kind of vibes that come out of us, right? People can look at your face and know whether you're confident or not. People can smell you and know whether you're confident or not. It affects every part of you because it affects some specific parts of your brain, functions of your brain, right? So whether you're doubting, you're negative thinking or affirming, specific part of your brain come to reckoning, right? Which will affect the way you see things, the way you feel, and the way you behave, right? So if confidence is not merely a product of personality or luck. No, it is a complex neurological phenomena which is rooted in the brain's ability to process emotions, evaluate skills, evaluate risk, and regulate internal states, right? So it's not luck, it's not a personality trait, it's a function of what you do or not do, why you think or not think, right? So let's look at some four pillars of self-confidence, right? Uh, so one is strength, right? To if you want to build self-confidence and have self-confidence, you must focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses, right? Uh, Peter Drucker would say you can't build excellence on weaknesses. You can only build excellence on your strengths. So if your focus are always is always on the things you cannot do, you'll not be confident. But if you focus on the things you can do, your confidence will come out and people will see it, right? Here at work, at some point, but uh, with all the issues, me coming here and trying to get things right, that's what's made a difference for me. I focus on the things I could do and the things I could do that no other person could do or no other person was doing. And that's made a way for me, especially when someone wanted to rubbish me. That's true. That answered for me because I was doing something that was making a difference. So focus on your strength. Leverage on what you do best. Don't spend your time on the things you don't do best, right? Make a difference in the things you can do and build on it, right? Delegate the things you can do, right? No, there's no need wasting your time on the things you can do. So when you spend your time on the things you can do, you build confidence. You can use the things you can do maybe to help you with the things you cannot do, either by delegating it or by using it as bargain to delegate it. But your focus needs to be on the things you can do. You can build excellence on the things you can do, right? If That's not to say if it's important for you, if it's something in your way, yes. But the only way you can even attack the things you can do is by the things you can do, right? So you leverage on your strengths, right? There's no leverage on your weakness, right? Your strengths are the foundation of your confidence, right? Yeah, and strengths can be built. Don't get me wrong, right? Because you have strengths doesn't mean that they are optimum. I can be, my strength can be built. I can build my strength. I'm a teacher. Doing this every week is building my teaching acumen, right? Uh, so doing this is building my teaching acumen. You know, I can pray, but prayer is not my strength. But prayer is something I must do as a Christian. I don't have to lead people to pray. Uh, but prayer is not, it's not what I'll call my strength, but it's a weakness for me. But as a Christian, I have to pray. I have to pray, right? So I've not grown up being, people talk about spending these hours for praying. Uh-uh. I probably just pray 5 minutes and I'm gone. Uh, maybe I'm conscious of God's presence, but it's not that place for me to sit down and be praying 3 hours or 4 hours. It's not my strength. I can study for a whole day. Studying is my strength. Teaching is my strength, right? But because I'm a Christian and I can't teach without praying, maybe that's why God has me doing a prayer. I'm leading a prayer meeting Mondays to Fridays. I do that, but it's not my strength. Because guess what? I even in that prayer meeting, I started off with 5 minutes teaching, ending with 5 minutes teaching. I'm using my strength to 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 help me in the place of my weakness. Probably the most important thing for me is the teaching because that's my strength. I need a prayer, so God is having me pray, but I'm using my strength to help me in the place of my weakness. I have so much YouTube teaching, from those prayer sessions. It's not a prayer. I need a prayer. Prayer is helping me, it's building me up because I have to pray. It's a requirement as a Christian, but it's not my strength, but I have to pray. So I'm using my strength to help me in the area of my weakness. And in a sense, I'm building strength in that place of weakness. I'm doing the minimum. I'm doing above the minimum because I accumulate 2.5 hours a week doing that. 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. 2.5 hours. I don't know how many people got to do that. I got to do that because I'm a Christian and it's required for me to pray. But it's not my strength. So I'm using my strength to help me in the area of my weakness. And I'm getting better in that area, building strength in that area. Right. But if you focus on your weakness, you're not going to be confident. But you can build you can work on your weakness in the background, but you build confidence in the area of your strength. Right. So understanding and leveraging your core personal and professional abilities can be a game changer in your business. Right. That's what I do here at work. Uh, I use what I have. I don't compete with anybody on what they have, right? I can't walk in a place of chaos. I'm not going to be one looking for chaos. I can't. That's not who I am. I'm a data-driven person. I'm a logical person. I need data to work. So if there's a place where there's chaos, where there's no data, that is not my strength. But if you give me the data, I can get you the results. So you have to know your strength. You have to build on your strength, and use your strength to war. So by focusing on what makes you unique, you can differentiate yourself and your business, positioning yourself to win in the market, right? Use what makes you unique, right? Build on your strength. I love people, not my top two, but I love people all the same, right? So I use that. I love people. I saw in people's life. So it's easy for me to come calling. I don't ever come calling a place I've not sown. So I saw. So I'm confident, being able to then call or make withdrawals, but never make withdrawal more than what I've sown. All right. But use your strength. Use whatever it is that you are, that you're good at. That is the place what you can use to build confidence. Build on it. Whoever you are, build on you. Become a better you. You will have confidence. Become a better you. You will have confidence. All right. So number two pillar in building self-confidence is execution. Right. It's important to do. Right. You can know everything in this world. I know a lot about parenting, but I'm not the best parent because I've not been doing as much as I know. But there's an awakening in my life, and I'm doing more today. It's not. I didn't do less because I want to do less. It's because I'm a busy person. It takes a lot to do this, but this is not an excuse to lose my children because parenting is not just me living a good life. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. I know that. It's a strength. But my good man can make me lose my children because just being a good man is one part of parenting. Yes, will they see? But I need to engage them. I need to talk to them. I need to find out specific things going on in their life. I need to make them talk to me. I need to make them talk to me, ask me the questions that will make a difference in their life. That is parenting. There's the passive part, there's the active part. You need to talk to them. Yes, if your children are now are in their independence, they are now teens and young adults. Yes, there's no more trying to do things for them. Let them do what they need to do, but you can coach them. Just stay behind and see what he's doing and give them the wisdom of your age. Wisdom of your age. Help them sit on your foot, on your shoulders, so they can see better. Give them the sight they can see because you have rags. Think about yourself at their age, the things you did not do. Now you're older, your better sight of it. Provide that for them, coach them, mentor them. If you don't do that, you're not a good parent. You have to take action and deliver. I spoke about praying. I know a lot about praying. If I don't pray, it's useless. I gotta pray. I know a lot about investing. If I don't invest, my knowledge is useless. I know a lot about my workplace. This is my 30th year here. If I don't do and use what I know, I'm useless. People won't know, won't feel my value, and will not then come to me. If I know and I'm not showing it, they won't come to me. I have to make a difference in my environment so that people see me as an asset. I have to differentiate myself by what I do, not just what I know, what I do, not just what I know. And the more I do, the more confidence I get. Because the more results I get, the more confidence I get. If I don't do, there'll be no results, then I can't build confidence. But if I do and I see the results, I build confidence. Sometimes it's a failure, sometimes a pass, but irrespective, the failure, I learn from it, I get better. If I did it this way, it didn't work, let's do it this other way. This 5 years farming, we're not where we need to be, but we have learned. We're learning every year. We're doing things differently. As it were, we're like a Thomas Edison, missing it 1,000 times until he finally got it. Yes, we are trying this didn't work. We tweak it, 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 but we're getting better, more confident in what we're doing. I'm not ignorant because what I know I'm practicing. So I'm knowing that, oh, if you do that way, it didn't work before. Let's tweak it, let's tweak it, let's tweak it. So I'm a more confident farmer today than I used to be. You need to execute. You need to try out what you know. You build confidence by doing. So confidence is built through action. Ideas are only as good as the execution. Turning those ideas into results, it will fuels further growth. Execution is about taking those first steps, even when it feels uncomfortable, and learning from the outcome. That's what we did to farming. We've taken small steps and we're here. Right. We're building. We're not where we want to be. We're not where we need to be, but we're not where we used to be. And we're on the way, climbing the mountain. My 1 hour is gone. Thanks to my soldier for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Um, God bless you. Thanks for stopping by. I get to do this every Sunday at 2 p.m. West African time. And we're presently reading through the book, The Confidence Game. That's what we're learning. Here we're starting chapter 4 of it. Yeah, and so we're taking in going into chapter 4 about it. That's all we've done today. We didn't finish it. We'll continue from here next week. We're talking about the 4 pillars of self-confidence, and uh we looked at the first one. We said the need to be to leverage our strength and the need to take action. You know, God bless you. Thanks for coming along. God bless you. Have a great week ahead. We'll come back next week, God willing, and we'll continue from here. Bye bye.